Good morning, students. We had started with electrolysis, and today I'm going to teach you applications of electrolysis. So, first and foremost, let us discuss what is electroplating. I'm sure you're familiar with this term electroplating. How do I define it? Electroplating is a process of deposition of a superior metal like gold, silver, nickel, chromium on the surface of a baser metal or an article. That means you are going to electroplate an article, let's say maybe a copper spoon or maybe a aluminium spoon with a superior metal, okay, rich metal like gold or silver. Now, why do you electroplate an article? Reasons for electroplating. First and foremost, prevents corrosion or rusting. And secondly, it makes the article attractive. That means it looks rich, okay, attractive. Now, what are the conditions for electroplating? Number one, the article to be electroplated is always placed at the cathode. That means if I want to electroplate an article, let's say this spoon, okay, what do? I will attach it to the negative terminal of the battery, and that is cathode. The metal to be plated on the article is always made the anode. That means if I want to electroplate an article with silver, I have to make anode made of pure block of silver. Number three, the electrolyte must contain ions of the metal used for plating of the article. That means if you want to electroplate a keychain, let's say with nickel, then the electrolyte that I choose must contain nickel ions. Number four, a low current for a longer time period should be used. That means you have to prefer or you have to opt for a low current and not like high voltage. So preferably low current for a longer period of time so that the deposition of the metal is smooth and firm. Number five, a direct current, that means DC is preferred and not alternating current. Now let us deal with one at a time. Electroplating an article with silver. Let's say you have taken a spoon, okay? So you're going to electroplate an article, for instance, a copper spoon or maybe aluminium spoon. With what? With silver. Now, this is the diagram. You look here, the source of energy is the battery, okay? The positive terminal of the battery is connected to the anode, which is made of pure silver. The negative terminal of the battery is connected to the cathode, which is the copper spoon, which is the cathode. The electrolyte you have chosen is sodium argentocyanide solution, or you can also go for potassium argentocyanide solution. It is a complex salt. Now, electrodes. Cathode will be the article to be electroplated. That means in this case it is the spoon. Anode will be pure block of silver. Now let us take a look at the dissociation. That means the reaction taking place when you pass electric current through the electrolyte. Sodium argentocyanide solution, it dissociates into sodium ions, silver ions and cyanide ions. Water will decompose into H positive ions and OH negative ions. Now the reaction taking place at the cathode, silver ions, it gains electrons from the cathode and gets discharged. So pure silver is deposited where? On the surface of the copper spoon, which is the cathode. Anode itself is made of silver, so it will take part in the chemical reaction. It loses one electron and forms silver ions. So these silver ions, it goes back into the electrolyte. Now in this case, anode made of silver, it diminishes in mass because it gets consumed. Are you with me? Now let us take a quick look at electroplating an article with nickel. Steps are the same. Process is the same. The anode here is made of pure nickel, and the cathode is the article to be electroplated. So this time I have chosen a key. The electrolyte I choose is nickel sulfate solution. Keep in mind, if you're going to electroplate an article with nickel, the electrolyte must contain nickel ions. So electrolyte is aqueous solution of nickel sulfate. Now, the electrodes, cathode is the article to be electroplated. In this case, it is the key. And the anode is a pure block of nickel. Now let us take a look at the reaction taking place when you pass the electric current through the nickel sulfate solution. Nickel sulfate will dissociate into nickel ions and sulfate ions. Water will give rise to H positive ions and OH negative ions. Cathode is negatively charged. So the positive charged ions, nickel ions, it gets attracted towards the cathode and it gains electrons and gets discharged. So nickel is being deposited on the surface of the article to be electroplated, in this case, which is the key. Anode itself is made of pure nickel. It loses two electrons from its outermost shell. So what happens? It forms nickel ions. And these nickel ions, it goes back into the solution. That means the electrolyte. So anode made of nickel, it diminishes in mass. What do you observe? That the anode, which is made of pure nickel, it diminishes in mass. I hope you're with you. So please learn the reactions. Please learn what is the anode made up of, what is the cathode made up of, right? And your observation. Thank you.